My brother fired me yesterday.
Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we'll be talking about more and more people are getting fired from their 9 to 5 jobs. So I put the stitches together so that you watch. I'll be back to share my true sense.
My brother fired me yesterday. Now I'm 53 years old and going to have to look for a new job. I haven't had to look for a new job in over 20 years. I worked after hours for my brother's company 7 days a week. I had planned to retire in 6 years. I've been working since I was 13 years old. Now,
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Carson. Hello. Tori is on the call. She's from our HR company.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
So thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. Unfortunately, your employment with Hilton will be terminated effective immediately through the end of the month. And Tori is available to help with any questions or processes moving forward.
Can I ask why I'm being let go today?
Yes, we had the 90-day period, and in the end, we were just thinking it wasn't a great fit.
Can I ask for reasonings as to why you did not think it was a good fit?
Yeah, the publication went out late. It went out with typos. We just feel like the design wasn't necessarily a good fit for the publication.
Can I offer some feedback to that?
Yeah.
Every step along the way, I met my requirements, and quite honestly, a lot of the reasonings as to why it was late was dependent upon you. And I received materials often late from you, as well as not being able to control every ad thing that came in. And I've honestly been on top of everything. I've asked considerable amounts of being able to access things such as the production email to help these things get out more on time. And every step of the way, I was met with roadblocks and being told no. As my direct report, I never felt like you stepped up and asked me if I could use help. I received very little feedback from you, and often there were times where I did reach out to you without being told anything or having any reply or response whatsoever. I also found it very unacceptable to receive a message at 11 p.m. last night informing me that I was going to be laid off the next day with this meeting and then immediately revoking my access to everything. I do want to apologize to Kendall and to yourself for calling you so much, but when you do that to somebody, they're going to panic. I feel like I've done every step of the way of trying to do this job to the best of my abilities, and quite frankly, you've made it very difficult.
Thank you for the feedback.
Can I ask when this decision was made?
I don't know that there was a specific date in question. I think it's just, evaluating things over the last 90 days and not wanting to prolong it if it wasn't a good fit and hoping that you could find something that's maybe a better fit for you and your style and how you want to work.
So was it a problem with my style of working? Kendall, I'd love to know specifically if you had issues with my workflow with you.
I wouldn't say it's so much of a workflow problem. I just think, like, stylistically, maybe you weren't the best fit for the magazine and the product that we're putting out there. Not that you aren't a talented designer or good at what you do. I just think that there's probably maybe a different role at a different company that would be better suited to your style.
Okay, I'd love to make a suggestion then, because right now I think your editor-in-chief could also use some growth in that area as well, because if you guys want to maintain a good team and moving forward, you need to make sure that your leadership is also possessing the strengths that need to be had to make a well-designed magazine. Because if I had been given materials and enough time, I would have been able to design a little bit better. I apologize for there being some typos and slight mistakes, but when it comes down to it, the publications being sent out late were not of my fault. I want that to be clear. It was not my fault. Okay. I work 9 to 5. I do what I've done. And I sincerely, Julie, I hope you take this as a growth opportunity, because every step of this since starting, my biggest frustration was working with you. And I want that to be known, because you have not given me the time to express that to you or give you any feedback until this moment.
Okay. And just please keep in mind, I appreciate you sharing that, but this call is not about Julie. So
I understand that, but since I'm probably not going to get an opportunity to talk about it in the future, it needs to be known. It's been lovely working with you, Kendall. I cannot say the same for you, Julie. Have a great day.
So I got fired yesterday from my job as a nurse's aide in a nursing home. And when I tell you why I got fired, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, in a time, first off, STNAs or CNAs are always in short supply. Always. And a good CNA, STNA, which is what I am, we're even harder to fucking find, okay? I'll give you like a 2-second background on me. I used to work only agency only because I did not like to deal with being on staff, and if I got tired of a place, I couldn't leave because I was staff. But if you work agency and you get tired of working at a place or it starts to go downhill, you just leave. You go work another assignment. You're never tied down. But I'm like, working agency, it's a lot of driving and a lot of away, a lot of 12-hour shifts. And I'm like, I want to be close. I want to work closer to home. So I'll work at a nursing home close to home, but I'll be contingent, which means I make my own schedule. If I want to work 1 day a month, I'll work 1 day a month. If I want to work every day of the week for a month, I'll work every day of the week for a month. It keeps me from feeling like a facility thinks that they own me. You know what I mean? So while working at this facility, I quickly learned that it is very much these are your residents, these are mine, I'll take care of mine, you take care of yours. If you've ever worked as an STNA or a CNA, that is the dumbest fucking way to work. Teamwork is the best, but apparently not here. Me, I can't do that. So if a resident is saying, I really need to go to the bathroom, unlike some of the girls that are at this place, they'll say, well, let me go grab Danya. Like, no, why do you have to grab Danya? Like, just take them to the bathroom. Because that's what I do. That's what Danya does. If I pass by a resident and they say, oh, I really need to go to the bathroom, I take them. That's your job. That's what you're supposed to do as an STNA or CNA. You have your assignment that you're responsible for, but you have to take care of the other people around you too. So that's the kind of STNA, CNA that I am. Also, when I walk in, I see that I'm on this assignment, this hall. I've been approached and we're short another hall on the whole other side of the building. Can you go over there and work that assignment? Yeah. Why not? There's literally no point in bitching about it, which is what a lot of those girls did. There's no point in bitching about it. Yes, I'll go over there. It makes no difference to me. At the end of the day, I'm taking care of people no matter where I go. So yeah, I'll go over to that assignment. This last 2 weeks, I've had a resident that's, she's in the last stages of cancer. She has stage 4 cancer. She's dying. She wants to go outside, but she has a big phobia of going outside. So we have a little community garden, and I said, there's some sugar snap peas. I can go get you some if you like them. Pick a couple flowers and, make the outside come inside to you. So my 15-minute break, or when I have a moment, I'll go out and get her some flowers, or I'll go get her a couple sugar snap peas. Like, that's how I spend my break. So yesterday we get called into a room by our director of nursing, our director of nursing, which by the way, she knows my TikTok. A lot of girls have my TikTok at work. Hi, how's it going? Also, if you have any stitches or duets and they're like, actually, she was a big fucking bitch. She never talked to any of us. She was so rude. Just know that I talk to people that I like. So if I didn't talk to you, there you go. I didn't fucking like you. But I still took care of your residents when the residents asked me to. That's the big difference. Anyway, our DON, who was only the DON of one hall, has now become the DON of the whole facility. So she calls us into a resident's room and she's like, I just spent 15 minutes in this room deep cleaning it. And what I found was disgusting. Your job as STNAs and nurses' aides is to keep their environment clean as well as keeping them clean and safe and happy. So I need you guys going through and deep cleaning when you have downtime. Bitch, what fucking downtime? We're already down a person. Like, we're already down an STNA. And you're canceling agency. So this being down, people being understaffed, is going to be happening a lot more. And you want me to deep clean rooms? So I said, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. I'm not above dusting and cleaning. But when I don't even have the ability to finish everything on my assignment for the day because we are short-staffed, I promise you, dusting and deep cleaning are bottom priority for me. We do have housekeeping for that, and I have no problem cleaning up after myself, but I physically do not have the time to deep clean every room. And I was told, well, that is part of your job, and if you don't do that, you're not a team player. To which I said, I think I might need to leave for the day. With what you're telling me, we're short-staffed. You're canceling agency. Now you want us to be deep cleaning rooms daily on our downtime. Like, I don't know how I'm going to move forward with the company hearing this conversation, having this conversation. Well, then you can leave, Danya. If you don't want to be a team player, you can leave. What I'm about to tell you is allegedly. Allegedly, this is what happened, okay? So Danya said, oh, sorry, hold on 1 second. So one of the nurses was like, how do I delegate to my aides that they need to be cleaning a room when you guys don't have enough staff for them to do their job as it is? And the DMN was literally like, well, Donnie goes outside and picks flowers. So, and I love that about you, Danya. But instead of doing that, you can come in here and clean a room. I was like, I pick flowers for dying residents. So I don't know why that's a problem. Oh, it's not a problem, but instead of doing that, you need to clean. And I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. And she was like, then you can leave because you're not being a team player. What would you do if your grandma lived in the facility and a nurse aide said that? And I said, I'm not gonna have my grandma in one of these places, which was apparently not not the correct answer. So anyway, she was like, then leave, Danya. Again, this is alleged. So Danya, who was calm the whole time, I have this because I think I'm getting sick, but Danya was like, oh, so Mr. over here can inappropriately touch a nurse and he still gets to have his job, but I pick flowers and I have to leave? Out. Get out now. But did what I say was wrong? Like, he allegedly inappropriately touched one of our nurses and he still has a job. He can still take care of residents. Like, what the fuck? And I have to leave because I pick flowers instead of...
Y'all got laid off. I ain't got no job. And I'm saying this like 3 weeks after the fact because I needed a week to adjust. And then I needed a week to rest and focus on me. And then I needed a week to strategize and figure out what I need to do with my life. So now we are 3 weeks in and here we are. I can confidently say being laid off has been a great thing for me, but it's also been very weird. I've had like a lot of time to myself and I love that, but now my routine is off and now I'm really got to be more conscious about what I'm spending and what I'm doing. And now I can do things like this and talk to TikTok. So, it's bittersweet and a lot of pros and cons. So I'm gonna take y'all on a life journey with me.
Yep, the company fired me because I was questioning why would I need to pay you back for the days that even though I was working while I was in Korea because my dad had passed. And, they were saying either you pay us back for the days that we paid you while you were in Korea for the funeral, or you just don't get paid for how many days that we calculate. Which was insane because I was actually working. And in return to that, comment, I went to HR and I provided all the screenshots and the login info and all of that, showing that I was actually working while I was in Korea for my dad's fucking funeral. Anyways, when I did that, the CEO, I'm sure she got an alert from HR that I had provided all this proof. And for that, she fired me. she literally said, "You know why I'm saying this, right?" And honestly, I was just so done after that. And I just, all of my coworkers were really angry. But the ex, my ex, that I basically like helped him, like placed him into getting a creative director role at that company, literally told me that when I told him that I want to like file a lawsuit, he told me not to because the industry is too tight knit, and it could harm me in the long run if I want to continue working in the industry. Which is very true. It is a very, very small and like tight knit community of industry where like the type of work that I did. But to this day, I still regret that I didn't file a lawsuit because it was just so painful to get over how I got fired like that, after experiencing such a huge trauma and all the years that I put into working for that brand. And out of that, I was so traumatized. I literally packed my shit up and moved back to Korea. Like, that's how traumatized I was.
That's a video, guys. I'm just here also to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video. More people are getting fired from their 9 to 5 jobs. Let's talk about what's really happening behind the closed doors of companies right now. People are losing their jobs quietly, suddenly in waves, and many of them never saw it coming. There is a silent epidemic unfolding: mass layoff, positions, elimination, and restructuring, budget cuts, and it's not just happening to underperformance, it's happening to dedicated employees, to people who show up early, stay late, meet the KPIs, and still end up back in their desk on a random Thursday afternoon. We live in a time where job security is more of a myth than a guarantee. You could have a great performance review today and still be let go tomorrow. Why? Because companies are no longer just evaluating you based on performance, they're evaluating you based on cost. If cutting your raw means saving a few $1,000s, they will do it, and they do it faster. The worst part is how it's being done. A lot of people are finding out they've been fired through emails, Zoom calls, or even system lockouts. You show up at 9 a.m. trying to log in, and suddenly your access is gone. No warning, no conversation, just a message from HR letting you know your position has been eliminated. And what makes this even more heartbreaking is the emotional weight that comes with it. People build their lives around their jobs. They take mortgages, pay school fees, and send money to their families based on the idea that their job will be there next month. So when the rug is pulled out from under them, it's more than just a final crisis. It's a mental and emotional one too. Let's talk about how people are coping up. Men are turning to freelancing, gig work, content creation, or remote jobs, not because they wanted to, but because they had no other choice. Others are drowning in debt, struggling to make rent, feeling ashamed as though losing their job was a personal failure. But it wasn't. It was a business decision, a spreadsheet decision, one that had nothing to do with the value as a person. The truth is, the traditional 9 to 5 is no longer the safe path it used to be. And deep down, a lot of people know this. They feel it in the tension of every team member, in the increasing severance at work, in the budget reviews and company direction, emails that hint at changes but never say too much. People are anxious, they're walking on eggshells, afraid to ask for time off, afraid to speak up, afraid to be noticed too much, but also afraid to be noticed not enough. Even the language around employment has changed. It's no longer permanent roles, it's full time for now. It's not about loyalty, it's about revenge. Employees are starting to realize they need more than just a stream of income. You need a backup plan, a side hustle, an exit strategy, because the day they might come when you don't get 2 week notice, you just get a longer earlier. And the shift is making people question everything. Is the reality the life we want? Is the constant anxiety worth the paycheck? Are we spending our best years building someone else's dream only to be discarded when they no longer need us. They had questions, but necessarily ones. So a lot of people are coming right on TikTok to just come rant about it because right now it's really getting out of hand. A lot of people have no jobs, they have no options. It's not like everyone can be a content creator, you need more grace, you need like more directions. Some people are just camera shy. Even if they try, they feel like it's not easy to be a content creator. It's not easy to get monetize your channel and get paid every month. Like it's not easy. So you need grace, you need direction, you need to learn yourself all these things. So other people they prefer going for 9 to 5 because this is where you have a fixed salary every month, everything you're going to have, yeah. So I've seen a lot of people coming to TikTok, they don't have food, they don't have money for gas, they don't have money for nothing. So like this is getting serious and it's really getting out of hand, you know. So I've seen a lot of people like getting so emotional and it's really breaking my heart, like seeing all these people going through all these things. Like it's not even fair at this moment. Okay, so yeah, so that's a video, guys. I'm just I was just here just to share what I think about today's video. I'll see you in my next episode. Please, bye bye. See you.